Some people don't just think deeply, they think endlessly. Even after the conversation ends, their mind keeps replaying it. A pause in someone's voice, a strange look, a single sentence. Most people move on quickly, but deep thinkers? They stay with the moment long after it's over. And the hardest part is, nobody sees it happening. On the outside, they look calm, quiet, normal. But inside, their mind is carrying entire emotional storms. If you've ever felt mentally exhausted from your own thoughts, this video is for you. Imagine lying in bed at night. The room is quiet, but your brain isn't. You replay things from earlier in the day. You wonder if someone secretly felt offended. You question whether people truly mean what they say. And somehow, a tiny interaction becomes a full emotional investigation. Deep thinkers do this constantly, not because they want drama, but because their brain naturally searches for meaning. They notice details other people ignore, the energy behind words, the silence between sentences, the emotion hidden inside someone's smile. And over time, this changes the way they experience life. Most people think deep thinkers are simply intelligent, but it's more than that. Deep thinkers feel life intensely. Their mind doesn't just process events, it processes possibilities. What if I misunderstood? What if something changes? What if there's more behind this? That's why they often struggle to relax. Even during peaceful moments, part of their mind is still analyzing something. And eventually, that becomes exhausting. Pause for a second and think about this. How many times have you looked completely fine while your mind was quietly falling apart? That's the hidden reality of deep thinkers. People admire their wisdom, their emotional awareness, their ability to understand others, but very few understand the emotional cost. Because deep thinkers don't simply experience pain once, they relive it repeatedly in their mind. A painful memory can stay with them for years. A conversation can echo in their thoughts for days. Their brain keeps searching for answers, even when there are none. A lot of deep thinkers became this way because of life experiences. Some grew up around unpredictability. Some learned to read people carefully to avoid conflict or rejection. So they became hyper-aware. They learned to notice small changes in mood, tiny shifts in behavior, silence that felt emotionally heavy. Over time, observation became survival, and eventually, their mind forgot how to stop observing. That's why many deep thinkers feel emotionally tired around people. Not because they dislike others, but because they absorb everything. The mood in the room, the tension in conversations, the emotional energy people carry. While everyone else casually talks, the deep thinker is processing everything at once. That's why solitude feels comforting to them. Silence feels safe. Being alone feels like finally putting down emotional weight they've been carrying all day. But here's the strange part. Deep thinkers are often misunderstood. People think they're distant, too serious, too quiet, when in reality, they usually feel too much. They care deeply, love deeply, think deeply. They just struggle to explain the chaos happening inside their mind. Because how do you describe a brain that never fully rests? How do you explain being emotionally drained by thoughts nobody else can even see? And sometimes, deep thinkers accidentally become prisoners of their own mind. They overanalyze situations that don't need analysis. They search for certainty in places where certainty doesn't exist. Not every silence means rejection. Not every distance means someone stopped caring. Not every problem can be solved through endless thinking. But deep thinkers often believe if they think long enough, they can prevent pain. And that's where suffering quietly begins. Pause again for a moment. Have you ever ruined your own peace just by thinking too much? Most deep thinkers have. Their mind turns possibilities into fear, questions into anxiety, uncertainty into emotional exhaustion. And slowly, they lose the ability to stay present. Even beautiful moments become something to analyze instead of simply experience. But deep thinkers also carry something rare: depth. They notice beauty others miss. They understand emotions deeply. They make people feel heard in ways that are hard to explain. In a world full of shallow conversations, deep thinkers still search for genuine connection, and that matters, more than they realize. The real challenge is learning balance. Learning that not every thought deserves attention, not every feeling needs a solution, not every moment needs to be understood completely. Because peace doesn't come from finally figuring everything out. Peace comes from knowing when to let go, when to stop chasing answers your mind will never fully find. So if your mind never seems to slow down, if you constantly analyze people, emotions, and situations, there's nothing wrong with you. Your mind simply learned to go deeper than most. The important thing is making sure that depth becomes wisdom, not self-destruction. Because sometimes, the healthiest thing a deep thinker can do is stop searching for meaning in every single thing, and finally allow themselves to simply live.